La 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 la. Hey, this is a song for my haters. Yeah, you got me feeling like the greatest.
Rowe dropping the pass in trouble. He gets the pass away over the middle, and it's picked off at the 20-yard line. Dansby makes the interception.
Welcome back to another episode of PCP Press Coverage Podcast. I'm your host, E. Dansby, and today I got another special guest. He's cut from the same cloth as me. He comes from the Academy of Richmond County. By the way of Wake Forest and a former LA Charger, Willie Yarbary. Brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing? I appreciate you having me on here.
Man, I appreciate you coming through, man. Taking out your time, man. Coming out here to sit with us, man. Like I said, you definitely got a story that we want to tell. But before we get into your story, man, we dissect everything, bro. We break everything down, man. When you talk about the CSRA and you think about defensive linemen, your name is mentioned in some of the in the breath of some of the greats that have been here, that have done it. So when you're looking back, man, there's a few years being out of high school, being out of college. What does that mean to you now?
Man, that means a lot. Like I was saying earlier, I would have never put myself on that kind of pedestal. Like, I always try to remain like sane and humble and things like that. But I think about the people that was before me, like D. Wash, Big Marv, D-line coaches and stuff like that helped me pave the way for what I did do. I put those guys above me sometimes, so I'm like, it's truly an honor, and I really appreciate that.
Right. And I feel you on that, man, because you always got to pay homage to the guys that have come here and done it before you. When you think about guys that's done in this area, when you think about the Kendrell Bells, your Corey Urbers, your Jasper, your Casper Brinkleys, Jerry's Wynn, the Refrigerator Perry, those guys are legends in the area, bro. And everything you've been able to done, post high school, so in the college and in the NFL, and then in many different other leagues, man, you got to mention you right with those guys, man. So, since you've been, out of Wake Forest, man, I know you've been very hand-on here in youth development, dealing with MTAD Fitness, man, and shout out to them, man, for them, coming in the area, man, and definitely providing a wave for the kids, to come in and hone their skills, man. So we see that, those guys are coming here and they're trying to hone their skills and trying to develop their game, and that's at a very young age. So for you, where did you see yourself, finding your love for the game of football?
Crazily, bro, I ain't even really like football back then. My dad kind of forced me into it when I was younger. I remember telling the story. I was playing soccer, first day at practice, kicking the ball around, coach telling us to do this, and all I remember seeing my dad walk out there, and he didn't even sign me up. And my grandma did. And I see him walking towards me. He was like, "Willie, come here." I'm jogging over. I'm like 8. I said, "What's up, Dad?" "Come on, we ain't fit to play no soccer. We fit to go sign you for football." And I ain't never played soccer again in my life.
Yeah, and that's crazy, man, because, I guess in the African-American community, and our culture, man, you just don't even see guys playing soccer, man. Yeah. It's definitely, expanded now. It's getting bigger now. Yeah. Soccer is the worldwide sport, you know what I'm saying? And it's the real football when you think about it, so it's definitely expanded, man. But, a lot of times we all do fall in love with the game early. That's unique that, you didn't really have a love for. For me, I was, 5 or 6 years old, man. You come up, watching football, and you just fall in love with it, man. With me, it was my dad just throwing the ball across the yard with me, man. At an early age, I knew that was something I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then now, if you look back in this area, and it's been expanding in many other areas, but this area has now got a light on it. When you see guys, Pop Warner taking off big. 7-on-7 is very, very big. It's now the AAU of football. You know what I'm saying? And then you got places like the MTAD that's now, in youth development, training those guys, man. So you definitely seen, youth football take off here in the past couple years here in Augusta, man. So, we're here in the South, man. And in the South, man, we grew up loving football. And we tend to kind of like, idolize guys in our era. So for us, it was like the Michael Vicks, the Terrell Owens, the Randy Mosses, man. For me, personally, it was a Darrell Reeves, man. So who were some of these guys that you watched coming up on Saturday or on Sunday that you kind of idolized, man, and wanted to pattern your game behind?
Man, to be honest, I really didn't watch a lot of football growing up. Like, my lifestyle was more so like in the church.
I feel you.
Like at grandma's house, like outside playing. Like I used to have partners talking about players and stuff like that. I ain't know nothing about that. Like I watched probably a little bit more basketball because my granddad at that time, he was more of a basketball fan. But maybe I knew I wasn't gonna be as large as like Vince Wilfork. But like I'm thinking like, dang, this man is so disruptive. You know what I'm saying? This man's so large. Like I probably looked at him. It's like as I started getting to high school, started getting to college,
right.
I started watching more football, to be honest, and starting realizing like the key players like Aaron Donald or Jared McCoy and like I started looking at Grady Jarrett. Like those were guys that I was like, dang, they're not the largest people. Like, so I'm trying to look at people that look like me. They're not the largest people, but they're also disruptive at the time.
Right. Yeah, Aaron Donald's definitely one of those guys. Yeah. He's an undersized defensive lineman.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it doesn't make a difference for him because he's been able to come in the league, man, and just wreck shop and dominate, man. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's crazy because, you know, the guy that has your success and your story that's not even involved in the game, you're starting to see that, you know, now more and more where guys are getting the game late. They're getting into it late, and then they're just blossoming and blooming here.
Oh,
you know
for sure.
They're just falling into it. So, like you said, you didn't really come up loving the game, man, but nevertheless, you decided to go to ARC, man. Mm-hmm. And coming to ARC, you come behind the heels of the class I was on. Mm-hmm. You know, that senior year we had, man, was magical. You know, the tradition that we set back at Richmond with the guys like a Marquand Medlock, Jarrell Anderson, Brandon Griswold, Jared Coors, rest in peace to him. Mm-hmm. We set that tradition at Richmond to come from a nothing culture, not winning anything, to now winning culture. You come on the heels of that. What you're seeing that, and you enter high school and you say, I'm going to play football. So what were some goals for you athletically once you enter Richmond?
Athletically, I was just trying to be the best player I could be. Yeah. Consistently staying in the weight room. I credit Coach Buckshaw for that. Like, he stayed on.
Buckshaw, man. Definitely a legend, man.
For sure. And Coach Bush.
Coach Bush.
Yeah, and so just them two were pivotal for pushing me the way I did, especially. Honestly, I was just like a freshman. I was like, man, I want to start on varsity. I remember me and my partner Zach Mitchell. Well, I think we actually was on varsity, but you know how like they just have bodies and stuff like that. And so I'm like, so I'm like ninth grade when I got there. I wanted to be a linebacker, but they moved me to O-line. It'd be crazy, and it kind of disappointed me. And so I was like, dang, I need to get a little faster. I need to do a little bit more so that I can be. I don't want to be an offensive lineman. Nobody wants to be an offensive lineman. But it's crazy how
like a boring position, especially in high school. Yeah,
exactly. And so that summer I really just worked. I really was just working a lot, going to all of the like weight training, all of the conditioning things, and just trying to get myself in the best condition and shape I could. And the next year I was able to play. What's crazy is I got a story from ninth grade. I remember I had those goals. I'm trying to play. I remember, it was like Jerry Louis.
Jerry Lewis, you coming out Jerry Lewis, Don Coors, you in there with them guys.
I'm telling you, from Don and Jerry, I was just like, dang, I want to play, but I don't think I'm good enough. Like, I'm looking at these boys and stuff like that. And I remember we went down to, I think it was Washington County. They put me on kickoff. I don't know why. Yeah. Man, it was not pretty. I swear on everything. I said, oh, yeah, I need to go back to the drawing board. Probably got knocked out on the kickoff.
I mean, it can happen. So, man. It happens to the best of us. I know playing North Augusta, man. My senior year, man, big time matchup between me and a guy. He was in the Dream 16. I'm in the Dream 16, and he catch me slipping. Yeah. Boom. He catch me slipping on the kickoff team. Now I head on a swivel. So it can happen to the best of us, man. But shout out to you, man, for sometimes understanding the game and understanding where you're at in the game. Because sometimes people are built up by their parents in their head saying, well, you're a superstar, a superstar. And they don't ever really realize, hey, I need to, sit back, evaluate my game, take some inventory, and then come back stronger. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you for being able to do that, man. Because I said, you came in the Richmond team, man, that was, I think, when you talk about Richmond football, it's very underestimated in this area. Because that era that, I would say from my era to your era, and you look at the number of athletes that came through there, and it's definitely underrated, man, because I played with guys like a Brandon Vereen, man, like a Jacob Sullivan, man, like Drake Reed, Don Coors. These were guys that, definitely very, very talented. And also a guy like D. Howard, another guy who was very talented, man. I tell people all the time, man, that Richmond team that we had, man, that talent we had, that was state championship talent. We just came up a little short, man. But like I said, we was able to change the culture of Richmond football. And then now it became very respected in the area, you know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
For a long time. Richmond wasn't, respected at all, man. So, you come through Richmond, man, as a freshman, sophomore, junior. You explode in your senior year, man. In your senior, you got 106 tackles, man, 9.5 tackles for loss. Let me look at it. 9.5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss, and you got 1 interception. You're part of that Dream 16 team, man. We only had a handful of guys that's been in the Dream 16. Yeah. I'm one of them. You're one of them that come from Richmond. So, we haven't seen it much. I want to say Don Coors might be another one, man. and then you're all-state selection, which I've been one of those, you've been one of those, and now you're recruited at a high clip. So what was that recruiting process for you? Because now we know that recruiting, the landscape of it is totally different now. It's so crazy now that you got NIL deals, all this different stuff going on. But what was it like for you, just being, at Richmond, man? Now you're getting these big ACC schools looking at you. What was that like?
Crazily, my first offer came, I think, junior spring from Indiana.
Okay.
Coach came up there, Coach Fabris. I don't know where he's at now, but came down, worked me out like during practice and stuff like that. I'm like, I didn't know much about like multiple colleges and stuff like that.
Right.
Like I didn't know what the Big Ten was at that time.
Right. You learning on the fly.
Exactly. I'm learning on the fly. And so he came down, he worked me out while I was at practice and trying to kill me at that. Next thing you know, he was really impressed. He liked me, and we went into Coach Hughes' office, and he offered me. He offered me on the spot. My silly self at the time, I commit. That's the first thing I said.
Yeah.
Right after he did, and Coach Hughes was like, Willie, let's go home, talk to your family first and stuff like that.
The recruiting process is definitely one of them things where you got to kind of take in part your decision.
Exactly.
Decision
I think I was just so excited at the time.
Yeah.
Like, for one, it was a D1 offer, and I'm like, man, I ain't got to pay for school. Like, I'm thinking of all of that stuff, and so that's why I did it. But as time went along, I didn't I reevaluated and like, okay, I'm gonna keep you as an option, and started getting more schools and stuff like that. I feel like when you get that first school, everybody starts to bandwagon. Yeah. And so now I'm getting more schools, more schools
offers. Yeah.
Exactly, more schools starting to come to visit and everything. And next thing you know, maybe about a couple months later, I was like, I like Indiana the best. They talked to me the most. Yeah. And so I went ahead and committed. And then after, I was committed for about 7 months. Then some stuff had happened with the coaches, and
we see that happen a lot where the coaching staff may change, coach staff may get fired. Exactly. As a recruit, you got to be aware of that, Exactly. And I tell young recruits now, with your family, everybody that's supporting you in the process, ask these questions, because coaches could be on the hot seat, and they bring another coach in, and you're not part of that recruiting class. They'll definitely phase you out.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, man, for being able to recognize that. And being able to, kind of just sit back and take inventory of the process and say, hey, let me see what my options are, man. So eventually, man, you decide where you're going to go. You decide Wake Forest. So why Wake Forest, man? And I'm such a big, like I told you, we talked earlier before we got into started the pod. I've always been such a big fan of Wake Forest, man. Especially when it came to like basketball with Chris Paul and Jeff Teague. So that was always a school that, hey, man, I was intrigued by that school and wanted to go there. Unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity, man, but you did, man, and I'm such a fan of that. So why Wake Forest, man? What made you decide on them?
Crazily, like, I really wanted to go to Georgia Tech because a lot of my friends were going to Atlanta, and I just wanted to be in big football and
in a major city.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And so they were trying to offer me for O-line, and I was like, I'm not playing no O-line. And so I kept my options open. Coaches changed at Indiana, and so I was like, let me keep my options now. And so it's the last week before signing. Wake Forest came on a Wednesday. I signed next Tuesday, and they were talking good. I said, let me just keep my I remember Coach Hughes was like, I think you should look into him. And so I did. I was wrestling at the time, and I had a match. And I went and visited on a Sunday, me and my mom. That Tuesday I signed, I just liked it. I think it was just the culture.
Wake Forest, man. Yeah, definitely a beautiful campus, man, out there in what is it, Winston-Salem?
Winston-Salem.
Yeah, Winston-Salem, yeah.
Crazily, it was a little undeveloped. Like, we didn't have an indoor. A lot of things. I was like, how did I bypass this until I got there? Then things like the culture started transitioning, as in like facilities and things like that. Yeah. But I think I made a great decision. Yeah,
definitely, man. And when you see in the recruiting process, man, all those things are valuable. When you talk about the facilities, everything that the school has to offer. Yeah. I tell people all the time, man, the facility game for us, like the indoor arenas and stuff like that, that's just like started to become, like I would say around about 2013, 14, 15. So a lot of schools you may visit, other than your Alabama, your Georgias, your Clemsons, who were these top dogs at the time, they wouldn't have these indoor facilities. But like you said, now you starting to see the development, man, of the colleges, and now they can offer these kids more, man, and that kind of like sells the program more. So you get to Wake Forest in 2014, man. You're redshirted in your first year. In 2015, man, you start to play a little bit more, man, and we see you starting to make your mark. So how was that transition for you? Just transitioning from high school football to collegiate football. What was the transition like for you?
Oh, it was tough. I ain't gonna lie. Like, at many points, I thought I was gonna stop playing football or transfer, because my coaches was, I think, weren't satisfied with my performance at the time when I was a red shirt.
Right.
I think when I was a red shirt, going against like scout and stuff like that, I was doing well. But when I started playing my red shirt freshman year, my coach was not satisfied, getting on me every day. And I think the mental toughness of that is what we don't realize in high school transitioning to college. This is a job. This is not you having fun. You're not having fun with your friends anymore. Like, you got to understand, like, these coaches and these universities are making millions of dollars, so
definitely
they need production. And so some injuries, ankle injuries and stuff like that happened, and it caused me to, I think, have a little less confidence in myself and in my play, because at the end of the day, I'm a D lineman taking on heavy behind O lineman. You know what I'm saying? And so exactly. And if my ankle ain't holding up a little bit, it kind of frustrated me. But I think more so having a good core, a good culture at the school. Like, I had friends and stuff like that just consistently staying on me and talking to me. And so after my redshirt freshman year, my redshirt sophomore year came around, it was a totally different beast. I was ready then. Yeah. Like, people don't understand. People think that coming straight out of high school, like I said, I was doing well in high school down here at Richmond, and I'm thinking, man, I'm finna go ahead and go straight to college and do the same thing. It is not like that.
Yeah, it's totally different, man.
Exactly.
I tell you all the time, man, especially playing on that line, because we know that, football has changed a lot, but in those trenches, it's all still the same. And, coming from being a 18-year-old, young man, and dealing with now a guy that's 22, 23-year-old.
Exactly.
That's a fifth-year senior or a four-year senior or a junior, and now you're dealing with him in the trenches, man. Mm-hmm. The transition for that is totally different, man. It's like you have to develop. I think now we live such in a microwavable society that they want to see the results right then. Yep. They don't give these guys time to develop. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Wake Forest, man, for being patient with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and letting you get an opportunity to kind of develop your game. Yeah. And one time I tell people all the time, man, if the coaches are hard on you, that's because they see something in you. If they ain't really talking to you like that, now that's a problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So now we're talking about things that were, the transitions on the field. So what were some transitions off the field? Because we also know that we're not only just athletes, we're student athletes. So what were some transitions for you, not only on the football field, but, in the classroom and also in your social life?
I think in the classroom, I kind of was prepared for that. Being in the IB at Richmond, it kind of helped me make that transition a lot easier.
Right.
Classroom wasn't as hard as long as you apply yourself. I always say that to anybody. Apply yourself. You're going to do what you want to do. At the end of the day, if you want to study, you're going to study. If you want to go party, you're going to party. And so make it make sense.
Yeah, you got to make time for it. I tell people all the time, man, when you're in college, man, it's cool to party. Yeah. It's cool to have a good time. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. You just got to know how to prioritize different things, man. Exactly. When it's time to, for practice, it's time for practice. It's time to work out, it's time to work out. When it's time to, get in the classroom and handle everything we got to do there, then we got to make sure that we're I guess adjusting to the time frame.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people just get lost. We see a lot of athletes go to school, man, and they kind of get lost in the shuffle because they're lost in the hype or just the lifestyle, the freedom. Now you're no longer with mom and dad. Mm-hmm. They're no longer there making decisions for you, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But so like you said, man, now you get into where you develop your game and you see you developing now. And now I tell people all the time, man, the ACC is no slouch. You're in the cusp of the Deshaun Watsons, the Lamar Jacksons, the Sammy Watkins, DeAndre Hopkins, who's in more in my era, but those guys nevertheless played in the ACC, and those are big time guys, man. Mm-hmm. So now, it's 2016, man, and you're in a starting position. Mm-hmm. So what was that like, man? Now coming from redshirt freshman to 2016, you're starting all 13 games, man. So what was that like, that evolution?
Talking about my redshirt sophomore year.
Yeah, your redshirt. Yeah, redshirt sophomore year.
So redshirt sophomore year. So I remember I told you that transition from redshirt freshman to redshirt sophomore. I don't know what happened, but it just started clicking. And so, now I done earned a starting job. I was actually, nose. I was 275, and they had me at nose, but also playing 3. And I was feeling good. Confidence is there. First game, we played Tulane, hurt my ankle. I done rolled my ankle. I don't know what I did, but now it was another. I was having a good game initially, hurt my ankle, and I wasn't able to come back. And so I actually sat out about 2 games because they wanted me to come back, but I was like, I don't think I'm gonna produce. I don't want to put bad film out. And so, and at the end of the day, I think that's what I feel like I struggled with, because people don't understand that it's your body. These coaches want you to
they just want you
play.
To go. They feel
exactly.
they just want you to go. Because,
exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't walk, but you want me to go out there and take on a double team.
Yeah.
So, I'm like this. it's stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
And so actually I sat a couple games because I was like, I don't think I'm ready. And then I came back. I don't know if you'll fit to go into it. I came back Louisville game, started back Louisville game, and I don't know what happened. I was still a little trying to get my confidence back on my ankle, and I don't know, it started clicking.
Yeah.
Like, I know I had a couple weeks that I was like rehabbing and things like that, but had a great game and everything turned after that one for sure.
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely, like I said, when you're dealing with injuries in college, because I dealt with my share of injuries, definitely, towards my right into my senior year, and it like you said, you know your body better than anyone. I mean, the coaches can tell you something, the trainers can say it to you, but you know how your body feel. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you get into 2015, man, your redshirt sophomore year, bro, and you say your starting to click, and you get through that year, and now 2016, now you earn the starting position. Now, what's that like? Taking on, now probably being one of the leaders of the team, one of the oldest statesmen of the team. What was that like for you in 2016? Because we see your numbers in 16, man. We see you play all 30 games. We see the 7.5 sacks. We see the 7.5 tackle for loss and the 4 sacks.
Oh, okay, you talking about? I think you talking about 17.
17.
Yeah, this 17.
So 2016, you earn the starting role, and then in 17, you know what I'm saying? Now you're getting to where, you're becoming like a dominant player in the ACC, and that's no slouch. Isn't that, everybody talk about SEC football, but ACC is just as big. So now,
especially at that time too.
Yeah, ACC was very big because you had the Lamars there. You know what I'm saying? Deshaun was there, but he's leaving, but he was there nonetheless during the same time frame. You know what I'm saying? Because ACC was big, and then during that team, you also see Miami. They get Mark Richt, and then they kind of explode on the scene for a year or so. You know what I'm saying? So what was that like now? What was that like? From 2016 becoming the start of 2017 now, with these big numbers, what's that like?
Starting to feel. Now I'm getting to the groove. Like, now I'm feeling like I'm my old self back into. I don't know if you've seen the Mentateo documentary, but he talks about like now he felt like himself, and like everything just slowed down.
Yeah, when the games
2017, exactly 2017. Like, I think that was really like my breakout year. I started playing. Like, I was already playing well, but now I'm really playing, and the game's slowing down. I'm having fun now. I think that's the whole thing. When you're having fun, that's when you know.
That's when you can make plays.
Exactly.
You know what you're doing. You know the playbook. You know the position you need to be. You know the technique you're playing, and now you're just out here having fun.
Exactly.
Like I said, that makes all the difference in the world, man.
And I think it made it a lot better now that the coaches. So the first 2 years when I redshirted freshman year, 3-9. Now we starting to actually win. 2016, we starting to go to bowls. 2017, now the guys that I've developed with, the guys that I've done been in the grind with consistently, now we all playing and we're all having fun. So that just made it a lot more. It made it a lot better. And I don't know. I just think me producing, and what's crazy is I always wanted to do so well. Like, my dad pushed me so hard, and so when you know what I'm saying, like, I think it's just. Like, that's just, I'm gonna push my child hard too. And so me producing and just seeing like my dad, my mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, seeing them.
You can see it, man. And like I said, sometimes when you step into that on college, man, I tell people all the time, you got a lot of guys here, man, that come from many different backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, your dad was pushing you, and you see your mom. And we want to change their lives, man. Not only do we want to get our degree, man, but we want to try to go on and play professionally, man.
Exactly.
And change their lives, because we see the sacrifice that our parents are making. For us, mom and dad, we see it every day. Because, like I tell people all the time, man, it takes more than just a full ride scholarship to be a successful collegiate athlete. Because before the NIL deals, you didn't see where people were pushing money into the athletes. You seen it. It was kind of under the table. We all know what it is when it comes to that.
Exactly.
But that, mom and dad, they make a lot of sacrifices, and everybody don't come from a rich background. Everybody, everybody don't, man. So you get into your senior year, man. You have 54 tackles, man. 11 tackles for a loss, a fumble recovery, 5.5 sacks, man. And now you're pretty much a star player at Wake Forest, man. And y'all guys are having a very, very good season at this time, at this point. So what was that senior year like for you, man? Because, like I tell you, man, in your senior year, you're leaving it all out there on the field, because when you're coming up, man, freshman, redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, you got years left to play. And then when it's all over with, knowing I got nothing else left, what was that like for you, man?
I think at the end of the day, I was just trying to leave a legacy. Like, what was going to happen? Like, I had buddies that had great careers and stuff like that, and so I'm really trying to compete with that. I remember my roommate at the time, he was a D tackle also, and me and him just every day, like, me and him were like the stellar defensive linemen on our team, and so I was just, who gonna be better? And so that just kind of pushed me. I needed that little motivation of, I know he gonna get it, so I got to get it also. Exactly. And my whole thing is now or never. I'm trying to go to the NFL. They want production, and so I need to produce. And so I think that just sparked a fire for me to try to do something. And me being a captain at the time, trying to help lead the team, and all I wanted to do really was just win. Yeah,
just get out there and win.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, man, we definitely seen the Wake Forest evolve, man. From, you know, coming in starting at 3-9, man. Now making bowl games, and now just being very, very competitive. And just look at the season they just had here in the past year.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, they went crazy.
Yeah, they went crazy, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and that just didn't start last year. That started with the guys that's coming from your era, man. It's building blocks, man.
Exactly.
It's building blocks. And since we're on the subject of college football, man, I always ask guys who's played in my era, your era, guys behind you. We see it now. NIL, name, image, likeness, man. What you feel about it? How do you feel? Is it good for the game? Is it bad for the game? What you think?
Man, I have a mixed emotion, because I feel like if I was there, I would definitely want it. Because
I'm like, definitely, bro. Definitely.
I want to reap the benefits of all of that, and try to make the most amount of money. Like at the end of the day, football is not forever, and I feel like if I have an opportunity to make some money to help my family at the time that I can, especially when I'm in college, I would definitely be for it. I just hope people don't. The whole thing is like breaking down the culture of teams now, because it's not about the team anymore.
It's all about the individual.
Exactly. And so now, instead of I'm upset. If I'm a receiver, I'm upset this quarterback ain't throwing me the ball, because I need to make sure my stats are good so that I can receive certain deals.
Yeah, so then when they see that, they just automatically just transfer.
Exactly.
They just transfer. And like you say, you're not building the culture anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, with the NIL, I think it's good for college football, in a sense, if we can kind of get it under control. And when I say under control, is that you see a guy coming out of wherever he comes from, Georgia, California, Florida, and he's a 5-star recruit. He gets $5-6 million, sometimes $10 million, depending on how great this guy is and how much money the alumni can offer this guy.
Yep.
He comes in making $10 million, but you got a guy like Willie Yarbary that's been there for 3-4 years. He's not making this money, so that's where I find the issue at, because you got a guy that's been here doing it. He's proven. He may be a phenom coming out of high school, but it's still high school. Yep. He hasn't been on the field. He hasn't been in the fire. Yep. He hasn't been tested yet. And these guys that's been here now, these guys haven't received that level of compensation for their play on the field. So that's why I feel it. That's why I feel it may be an issue. And also my other issue is, and I ask you this: do you now think, because of the NIL, does it take the amateurism out of it? Is it now like the NFL, where we're all just playing for money? Because we know that, in the past, collegiate football was just, you're tied to the school. That's why I've always been such a fan of college football over the NFL, because it wasn't a business. We know we got guys, they out there grinding, trying to get to a level. And the people that's supporting them, it's not money-based. It's all really based off us just graduating from the school, having ties there, history there, and we all giving back for one cause because we should support the school. But now, with the development of NIL, and that has become so big, we see that it's no longer just college football anymore. It's big business now. So do you think it's taking the amateurism out of it?
To a certain extent, I do, because at the end of the day, some of these college guys are making more money than I have. You know what I'm saying? And so
crazy.
they're not caring about the colleges no more. Who gonna give me the most amount of money? Like, at the end of the day, who's gonna give me the most amount of money? And at the end of the day, I think a lot of guys are gonna stop playing football after college. Like, they're not gonna have no aspirations to do it, because they already doing exactly what they're gonna do in the NFL.
That's it. And I think you also see, do you see like kind of a level in the respect losing for the coach, because you got guys coming here making more money than coaches making. Honestly, you look at the coach's salary. We know head coaches in big time football make good money.
Yeah.
But how can another man you're making $8 million as a coach, and this guy's making $15 million as a player? How can you really check him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't gave him his money. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think to get it under control, I think this shit is, you sign me to a deal, have that money waiting for the guys. You got to play so many years at this program.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you kind of get trying to get it under control. Okay, you got to play 3 years, at least 3 years here, and at the end of your 3-year tenure,
you'll get
that. We'll give you that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of what we got to do to kind of get it under control, man. Because if not, it's just like a wild, wild west, man. You see it now where I see guys that's just transferring every year. I was looking at college football yesterday. I'm looking at Georgia. I'm looking at the Alabama game. I'm looking at Oregon. That Bo Nix, he transfers from Auburn to Oregon. And then you see the guy Burt from Georgia goes to Alabama, and it's just like you just see it in so many different new faces in new places, and he's like, man, these guys just played 2-3 years here, and now these guys are just transferring everywhere, man.
I think it's so bad for the high school kids now.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, colleges don't have to look as much into high school because they can just go get somebody else out that transfer portal.
Yeah, now it's all about the transfer portal.
Exactly.
It's not. It's all about transfer portal. And like you say, a lot of high school athletes, if you're not a 4 or 5 star recruit, you're just getting lost in the shuffle.
Exactly.
Man. You're just getting lost in the shuffle because now that transfer portal is so big, and teams and people got to understand, just like NFL football is all about winning games, with these college coaches, it's also about winning games because you got families to support and they're trying to win.
Exactly.
And so now, like you said, now you're starting to take kind of the onus off of being, getting the education, which is the most important thing. You're taking all that. It's no more. The spotlight is not on players graduating no more. It's all about, can we win big football games, and how much money I can make as a player, how much money can we make as coaches.
Yeah.
And that's what you see now, man. So, you have a stellar tenure at Wake Forest, man, and now you have aspirations of being in the NFL. You go, you're undrafted coming out of Wake Forest, and Atlanta Falcons give you a shot in rookie minicamp. So what's that like, man? Being at Wake Forest, man, being one of the older statesmen on the team, a star player on the team, man. Unfortunately, you go undrafted, and that's okay because I went undrafted.
Oh, for sure.
But the Falcons give you a shot, man. So what was that process? What was that like, that experience, man?
Man, I think I'm thankful for the opportunity. I went into there just trying to make a team, to be honest. Went into rookie minicamp. The whole thing I hate that I did, I was just like more so like in my head, like I wasn't being social. I wasn't being myself to a certain extent. Okay. I was like, more, I don't know why I was doing that. I went there. I did well. First day, what I didn't like, they was doing everything by alphabetical order. Like, so if your last name start with a Y like mine, exactly. I'm on the back. Yeah. So I'm on the I'm the 4th string, and I haven't even proved nothing. Yeah. And so I remember like the first day of practice, I wasn't even getting no reps.
Yeah,
and I was
it
like,
can be like in the NFL.
Exactly.
That,
so the next day, I was like, my second day, I was like, I don't even care about this order no more. I'm just gonna start jumping in line.
Yeah, definitely.
And doing that, but man, I had a great camp. I ain't gonna lie. Like I know I did everything. The whole thing is, they say like, can you look yourself in the mirror and have no regrets? Man, when I left there, I had no regrets. I laughed actually as I was coming back to Augusta, and I was like, man, they gotta give me a call. I'm beating up on your 1st round pick, which was a guy that I played in college for 3 years. So I know, like, we know each other, you know what I'm saying? I was doing everything well. I thought Dan Quinn, head coach at the time, he liked me, was talking good, but at the end of the day, you just never know. Yeah, and so that's why after that, I tell guys, like, I don't care what has happened, never get your hopes up. You can have the best day. That don't mean nothing.
You got to keep it even cool,
exactly.
Man. Got to keep it even cool.
Exactly.
Because I tell people all the time, man, once you get into, playing NFL football, it's not only that you're competing at your position, you're competing against every position. Because when you put a 90-man roster together, and now that, like I said, you got DBs out there, wide receivers out there, you got quarterbacks out there. It's so many different levels to, making an NFL roster. Because like I just said, you're competing not only in your position, but you're competing in other positions too. Because you got, you may have a good camp as a defensive lineman, but the team need maybe DB.
Exactly.
And a guy that may have not performed as well as you in camp, but had a solid camp and made the team over a guy that's really been outstanding. And you see that, man. So, you get your shot with the Atlanta Falcons, man. And then you go to the CFL, man. You have a little stint right there, man. And then outside of that, you go into, I think it was like arena football or something like right after that, man. Yep. And in the process of that, we see the spring league develop. So what was that like, man? The spring league has developed. You see a lot of big name college guys, man, go down there. I seen the guy from Michigan, the quarterback from Michigan, in Patterson. He signed there. So what was the spring league like for you, man? What was that?
I think more so just a new beginning.
Yeah.
At that time, I was actually in Augusta, just working out, training people. Had a couple of jobs at the time, and I was like, really didn't know if it was over or not. I remember like my advisor at the time, he was just like, I think it's a good idea, and I was like, I don't even know. They not really paying, and the whole thing, he was just like, every game gonna be on TV. It's good exposure, and the whole thing you need right now is exposure. And so that's what I be telling people now, like, you gotta be relevant.
Yeah,
like,
you got to be relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they don't care about what you done. Like, now it's 2020. They don't care about what you did in 2018 right now.
It's about what you do right now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and so went down there. It was in San Antonio. COVID was happening, and I don't know why they tried to push this league upon us, and so that's why I got shut down. But first game, so crazy. First quarter, had another ankle injury, and I remember it was hurting. I went on the sideline. I was actually crying a little bit because I was like, man, they finna send me home. My opportunity is done. And I told the trainer, I said, just tape it up, and can you give me some ibuprofen, something like that? And she gave it to me. First quarter just ended. Second quarter start. I'm on the sideline just doing a couple get-offs. Next thing you know, I was just like, it's feeling a little bit better. I think my adrenaline was running and stuff like that. And so I can wait till after the game to try to focus on it. I win the game. I really didn't. I was like, man, it's probably going to hurt a little bit more. First play, got an interception. I was like this, like that right there just opened up everything. After that play, I didn't even feel my ankle no more. So that's what it's
like I said, that adrenaline.
Exactly.
Everything's pumping, man. Now you just made a play. You're excited, and now that injury is not even on your mind anymore, man.
Exactly. Probably one of the best games I done had in my life. I had an interception, a fumble recovery, 3 sacks, like 2 TFLs. I'm like this, like all of this happened from the second quarter to the end. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like just like, it's crazy, like how mental things are. Like I would have been on the sideline in my feelings and in my head if I wouldn't have did that. Like thought about like, dang, I'm about to lose the opportunity. Dang, I'm finna go back home. I'm not like, dang, this might be my last chance. And so I'm just thankful. I thank God all the time for just allowing me to even have that opportunity for real.
And I tell people all the time, man, the game is mental, man. When you're dealing with injuries and you get hurt, it's all mental in your head. You got to get over your own head space first. And then so shout out to you, man, for being able to overcome that in such a quick turnaround. Because that's in the middle of a game. That's in the heat of the moment, in the fire. You don't see guys do it because once you get hurt, a lot of times, man, you're hurt and you're not able to come back in the game, man.
Exactly.
So you have a great opportunity in the spring league, man. So of course the spring league, like you said, it's exposure.
Yep.
So when did you start to realize now, like, hey, I got a shot at the NFL doing this? When did that come into play?
That game after the first game of the spring league, I remember watching it. My family was watching it back at home, and like the commentators was going crazy, and they knew that I didn't have an agent at the time.
Right.
And so I didn't have an agent, and after that game, my phone was going crazy with just agents trying to sign me. Exactly. And so like, I think with anything is new, just like the USFL, people are tuned in to at least the first one. That was the inaugural game for the spring league.
Yeah,
so
they're trying to see exactly what's going on.
Exactly. And for me to be the star of that game and everybody's watching, and so I thought right there, I was like, oh, man,
what's up, man.
I got another shot.
Yeah, that's big time, man. And that's great. So like you said, you had this stellar game, man. Like you said, I don't think the season ended because of COVID.
It did.
It did.
Yeah, so it must have been like 6 games or something like that, but we had 3, and then COVID was breaking out again, so they just shut the league down. Right.
And like I said, but I tell people all the time, man, doing in COVID, you just got to make the best about the opportunity, man. Of course, you didn't get to finish all 6 games, but you made such a mark. Mm-hmm. So now the spring league ends. So at what point did you start hearing from these NFL teams, man? Like I said, you probably get at some point, I'm pretty sure you may get an agent or something like that.
Yeah.
You sign someone, they start to put your name out there. You get the exposure. They're seeing you playing now. You wreck the spring league in the first game. Like you said, it's the inaugural game, so everybody's tuned in, and you're making great plays. So at what point is now you start seeing you start getting the NFL looks?
I think it wasn't as much as I thought it was going to be, to be honest. I had signed with an agent. He was telling me that like he's reaching out to teams and stuff like that, but wasn't getting as much traction as they thought that was going to happen. And so next thing you know, I played the next couple games. I was capitalizing on these games and these opportunities.
You just building a resume.
Exactly. And at this time, it's around October, November, and so teams are really in like the heat of the season.
They're in the meat of the season.
Exactly.
Right now. So they're not really signing too many outside guys unless you're coming in on a practice squad. Signing you to the practice squad or something like that, or futures contract or something like that. At the end of the year, we maybe had some injuries. They put some guys on the PUP list and they're just trying to fill the roster. So I feel you don't really see a whole lot of guys get signed like mid-season. You kind of want to catch it like right now, where training comes in, and we make the 50, and they're making cuts off the roster, man. So at what point then do the LA Chargers get?
So with this, with the spring league that happened in the fall of 2020. So next thing you know, I signed with the agent. I had it got cut short because of COVID. I come back home, working out, just staying ready.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, the football season ends. So now it's 2021, and the spring league had another season, so they brought it back.
Right.
And so now, about April, I go up to Indiana, and so now they have 2 hubs now. So now instead of just one hub with all the teams in San Antonio, they got one in Indiana and one in Houston. And so I'm in the North Division in Indiana, and we have a full season. Next thing you know, like I'm like this, like I already proved myself, and now I need to really solidify something.
Just keep building that resume.
Exactly. I got to solidify like what type of player I am. And so Indiana happened. All the games were played. I don't know when they saw it, but I just know I had a great season up there. My last game, like I really tried to like make a mark and or leave a mark. And next thing you know, a couple of days later, after I got back home, about June 13th, that's when I got a call from the Chargers saying that they wanted to sign me and things like that.
Yeah, man, and that's great, man. June 13th, you get a call from the LA Chargers, man. Mm-hmm. And like you said, with everything you've done in the spring league, all the resume you're building now. So what was that process like now? Getting a call from them, man, getting that intrigue from them. So what was next? What happened then?
So when I got the call, I was actually at the house asleep. I had just got back from Indiana. I was actually feeling sick, so I was like, dang, I think I got COVID. But
yeah, that's crazy, man.
Exactly. At that time, I missed the call. Maybe an hour later, I woke up and I was like, they left a voicemail, so I listened to it. It was like it was the Chargers trying to get in contact with me. So I hurried up, jumped up.
Yeah,
felt good, and called them back, and they were just trying to get in touch with me and my agent. Finally got that situated. Agent called me back and was like, they want to fly you out to sign you. They was like, they'll probably do it in 2 days or so. The 17th,
what's up, man?
Yeah, the 16th, I flew out there on June 16th. The 17th, I actually signed, and I was out there on the 18th, which was I was leaving on the 18th, which was my birthday, and I got back here, and man, it was just all of that hard work.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking of like over the years, like that's what I wanted to do with the Falcons. Like that's what I felt like should have happened a couple years ago, but I was like, it's not a race. It's a marathon. So
that's it, man.
I'm
that's
just,
it.
you know what I'm saying? I'm running, I'm doing it at my pace at the end of the day. And so that's pretty much what happened with that.
And that's what's up. Like you said, man, and I know that had to be such a blessing, man, because after all your hard work, playing in college, all these different leagues, man, just trying to get that exposure and just get that light on you. And now it finally comes true on your birthday. I totally respect that, man. And it's definitely just a blessing, man. So you signed there, you know what I'm saying? And now the honeymoon only lasted for a little while in the NFL. Sure. Of course, you're excited about signing, and only naturally that anyone would be, because when I signed with Minnesota as an undrafted free agent, man, for those 2 days before those guys was getting there, those rookies was arriving, and I'm there just in waitings. I was excited, man. Just resting on that, man. Come back telling my family, like, man, I finally got a shot, man. Thank God, I'm here. But now, at some point, you got to block it out your head, and now it's time to go. So now you're entering into training camp, and now you guys are starting to compete. So what was that like now? Stepping on the field now with these guys. You're no longer in the spring league with these guys that's trying to develop. You're out here with guys that are doing profession, that's now taking care of families, and this is their life. So how was that?
I think initially I was like, man, like that first day I was like, let me see how it's like the level of talent compared to what I've been seeing before. Like I've been in ACC. I've been like, let me see how it is compared to the spring league.
Right.
The first day I ain't gonna lie, like I was like, man, I'm messing up. Like for one, they've been there from OTAs, and so they already know. Right. Definitely. They already know like the drills and stuff like that. And I'm hitting the sled. I'm missing, and I'm like, hold up, now this ain't me. Like I don't know if I'm nervous or what, but by day 3, it came right back. I just needed those 2 days, probably like just
get your feet back.
Exactly. But the crazy thing about it is, I remember, I credit the people that was in the room, because my coach really ain't helped me. Like I remember my first day, they going over plays. I'm like this, like I don't even know what that means. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I remember after meetings, I'm like, I'm trying to write stuff down. I'm like, I don't even know what he's saying, because he's saying a call and people just answer. I'm like, there's no like, there's no explanation.
There's no teaching process.
Exactly.
And I tell people all the times, man, especially, and I'm a guy that didn't go to OTAs as well. And you get into training camp, and when you're out doing other things, for as me, like I said, I was working out for us the physical, running, jumping, lifting. That's fine. But I tell people all the time, the NFL now, once you step on that level, now it's more mental than anything, because they're throwing a lot of playbook at you at that point. You know what I'm saying? And when you're not used to that playbook, and things are, coming at you at one speed, and now in the NFL, they're not going to slow down for you. Not at all. It then becomes challenging, man. It's very, very challenging at that point.
Yeah, but at that time, I'm thankful for the partners that I did have, and I'm like, at the end of the day, the NFL, they say like, you kind of wish on people's downfall, because at the end of the day, y'all competing for a certain amount of spots.
Each other, man.
Exactly, and so I had some partners right beside me on the D line that was actually helping me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was like,
that's what's
man,
up,
y'all,
shout out to them guys, man.
exactly.
Shout out to them guys because, like you said, NFL is a high level competition league, and you're trying to look for that edge anywhere, and you don't want to get a guy you're competing against an edge over you. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the NFL, man, with being such a brotherhood with guys now understanding that, hey, look, we're gonna go out here and compete every day. But I gotta help this guy. I gotta help this young guy out and get him up to par, because if we both make this team and we need him, come a pivotal moment in the game or a pivotal moment in the season, that, hey, let me, help this guy so he can be up to par for his need to go on the mental aspect, because we know from a physical standpoint that he has it to be here because he's here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, man, shout out to the guys that were able to help you, man. So you're going through the training camp season, man, and you're getting your feet wet, and now you're getting to your preseason games, man. And back home here, we all rooting for you, man, and we see you making some big plays out there, man. So what was that like? Just, first preseason game, man, experiencing that, staring down the tunnel? Because I know for me, my first preseason game, man, in New Orleans in 2019, man, and staring down that tunnel, what that felt like. Such a great feeling, you know what I'm saying? After everything you've been through, man. So what was that like? Now entering into the training camp, you're in training camp, now you're getting into these preseason games. What was that like for you?
First preseason game, not even gonna lie, I was scared as hell. I think more so just being there. I'm glad I had that. I'm glad I had 3 of them just for that first one that I can just take in the moment. I was more so I played decent, but I was more so like, dang, I made it.
You caught up in the moment of it,
exactly.
man.
I was caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
I remember riding on the bus. I like every time before a game, I'm always listening to my gospel, but I'm listening to gospel. I'm sitting there crying. I'm just like, dang, I'm really here. And so like that was a big moment for me.
It's a moment, man.
Exactly.
It's a moment.
That really was a moment. Played well. I remember I got a buddy who like we critique each other consistently, and like he's gonna be honest with me. I remember after the game he was, Willie, what the hell? I done seen better now and stuff like that. And so I kind of needed that also.
Yeah, you need that though.
Exactly. Like I did decent, but it wasn't like I wasn't out there just doing what I should have been doing.
Yeah, and that's what's up, man. Because it's key when you're searching when you're on your dream search to get to this point. You need people around you to push you. When I was there in Minnesota, you had the older guys like I was there with the Xavier Rose, the Trey Waynes. You know what I'm saying? Those guys pushed us. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like the younger guys like, hey, we seen you do this in camp and practice. Hey man, in the game, let's go. You got this, man. You know what I'm saying? So you need those people that's next to you that's gonna be able to push you, man. Especially when you're doing, when you're competing at this high level. For sure. You gotta always have that high level competition. And shout out to you for being able to take that criticism. Because some guys can't take it. No. Some guys can't get, some guys, they'll totally lose themselves once people start critiquing their game. Because they feel like they're here. And sometimes, the NFL has a good way of humbling you, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Especially when you're playing in those trenches.
Yeah, for sure. I think more so, man, it's such a mental game. Like my whole thing during that game, I was like, man, let me see how fast the game is. I'm over here thinking instead of just playing. I'm trying to see if it's that much faster, or like are these dudes that much stronger? You know what I'm saying? Because now we're going against a whole different team. Yeah.
You're seeing a different look. It's not that, hey, I'm not going against the same lineman in training camp every day. And I'm going. I know the calls every day. I see what I'm going. Now I'm going against somebody that's, hey, he's competing just like I'm competing. Exactly. He wants a spot on his team just like I want a spot on my team. Exactly. And like I said, this may be a guy I never competed against before, man. But like I said, shout out to you, man, for just being able to settle yourself. Because like you said, some guys, they don't get settled until the preseason, until the last game. And at that point, it's too late. This is the dress rehearsal. Because the 4th game, you got a few guys that's on the bubble right now, but those coaches they pretty much already got in their mind. Who's gonna make this team and who's gonna not make this team. For sure. Man. You know what I'm saying? And now with the preseason now being 3 games instead of 4, those opportunities are less. So you definitely got to make the best of the opportunity now. As soon as you get out there, you know what I'm saying? For sure. So, like I said, you're in these preseason games, man. Here on the screen, we see the hit. You play the 49ers, man. We see the big hit, man. And it seems like at that point at that game, you're starting to settle down, man. So, at one point did you in the preseason that you really get settled and say, hey, I can make this football team?
Yeah. I think after the first game, like I was like, I'm gonna always like assess the film. I'm consistently like every night I'm looking at it probably 3 times. I'm seeing the plays over and over again. I'm like, man, what was I thinking? Like, get out your head. Yeah. And so the second game, let's play. Second game came around. I was like, man, I'm just gonna go out here and have fun. next thing you know, this same day was my father's and my stepmother's anniversary, and they came out to the game.
Yeah.
And so
I know that had to be a great experience
exactly.
for them,
I think more so having family there. I just saw them the night before, like we all went out to dinner and stuff like that, and seeing them in the crowd. So I was like, man, he was just like, man, just show out.
Yeah.
And so this game played a lot loose, even though I do accredit we played these boys. We had joint practice with these boys.
Yeah,
so I'm like, man,
so you see it all the time because you're in the joint practices with them. Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I already know what you about to do to a certain extent. I'm like, man, you kind of sizing people up. Like you already know like their weaknesses and stuff like that. And so right here had a great game and started getting recognition. I remember coming back to the office the next day. Like I used to like try to just go around, just be in the office, just show that you care.
Yeah.
And so I'm around there just doing like probably cold tubs and stuff like that. Head coach come up, Willie, you showing up.
Yeah.
Like it's noticed.
Yeah.
And so I'm like this. Okay, not trying to get too high. Like I said,
yeah. And at this time, the head coach is probably what's the black guy's name? Was he the head coach?
It was right now it's Brandon Staley.
Staley. Okay,
yep,
so
this
Staley
is his first year.
It was his first year, rookie year as a coach. Yeah, I know
last
doing
year.
that transition, they had a coach and they had got a brand new coach.
Yep.
And I want to say, that was that year.
Yeah.
So, like I said, now you're getting confidence, man, and you're going through the preseason, bro, and they're getting ready to make their roster cuts. So what's going through your mind at that point?
Never get complacent. Never get comfortable. I remember telling one of my partners that was on the team last year, he was, like I'm doing well. Like I'm trying to tell you, I lost one-on-one rep during camp, and it was the first day because I was like this, like, oh, I know what I got to do now. And,
you just feeling it out.
Yep, I felt it out, and like you know how sometimes I'm just there. I was just running, didn't use my hands, and I was like, oh, what am I doing? Yeah. After that, started producing. Me having the production that I did during camp, my partner who was on the team, he was, oh, really? You gonna make the practice squad at least? I don't even know why you weren't. Right. I said, Braden, I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I done been through so much stuff. Like my journey has been so many ways. I don't get comfortable. Like I understand, like anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Exactly.
It's like we mentioned in the show earlier, man. When you go into training camp and you talk about a 90-man roster, you're not only competing in your position group, you competing with other guys too. You competing with the guy that can run down on gunner and missile and play special teams. You compete not within your team. You competing with other guys that your team may sign.
That's exactly what I'm about to say. You're not competing just against y'all boys. I'm competing against that boy on the Rams or against that boy on the Chiefs or stuff like that. They looking everywhere.
Because like I said, the NFL is a business, and they're looking to improve their roster to get what's going to give them the best opportunity to be successful, to ultimately win a Super Bowl, man. So, unfortunately, man, you don't make this team, and like you said, you got to even cool with it, man. So what was that? So what was that like for you, man? Just going through that preseason, man, giving it everything you got, but unfortunately not making the team. But like you said, at this point, you're at a point now where it's like, hey, I'm at even cool because I done been through it before. You know what I'm saying? I done been in Atlanta before. I done stepped on these other smaller leagues now. So now everything that's coming at me, I could take it a little bit better now.
Weirdly, but I didn't. It's crazy. I really didn't. I remember when I was at home in 2020, I told my partner, one of my best friends, I told this man, all I want is one preseason, and I'll be good for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
I said
that's it.
Man, when you presented with those, I remember telling my dog Ray the other day, I said, why did I set such a low goal? Like, you do those things when you don't see the goal. Like, if you feel like it's unattainable. Yeah. And so me having that dream for one preseason game, I done got 3, and I'm doing well. I'm like, dang, like, and it's taken away. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I did bad, I got to live with that. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
But if I'm producing, I'm like, dang, I don't know how. And so it actually kind of hurt me. It hurt me a little bit, like, for real, even though I knew it was possible. Yeah. I just wish I didn't set that goal so low. And it kind of it sparked a fire, like, dang, you belong here. You compete and you doing damn near the same thing that's right there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what kept me kind of going and kind of transitioned me into what I had did next.
Right. And I
like that.
Yeah,
you like that transition.
Yeah. And I can kind of lean, and I can kind of lean on that, man, because during my time in Minnesota, man, you know, I'm dealing with different various injuries, man, and you know, like I said, like you did, I came in back in on the roster, undrafted free agent, and I'm making my name in these one-on-ones. You know what I'm saying? From being a corner in college, from playing safety in college, now playing nickel in training camp in the NFL. And I'm going to get up against the guys like Adam Thielen. Some of your Chad BB, some of you guys on the back end on the roster, man. Shout out to Chad BB, man. And, you know, good partner of mine. and competing against him, and then making plays against Adam Thielen in practice, and now I'm building that confidence level, man.
Yeah.
And you get into the preseason games, and you know, you get some reps, but you're not able to produce because you're hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And you get sent home, and you're like, damn, man, I was right there. But like you said, sometimes we set our goals and we set the bar sometimes low. You know what I'm saying? But then again, we leave 100%. We leave, 100, 120% out there, and you can't nothing. Like, to me, it was nothing for me to hang my head about.
Yeah.
I was always a guy that's like, hey, I gave it out everything I had.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing to hang my head about. So, like you said, transition into what's next, and we see these, like you said, as time goes on, you see different leagues develop. The XFL is coming back, and now we got a league like the USFL, and you get an opportunity to play in that, man. So what was that process like? Now you know what you were with the Birmingham Stallions. What was that like?
Crazily, I was actually about to go to Canada, and so I had an opportunity up there.
Yeah, with the CFL.
Yeah. I really didn't want to, but I was just like, any opportunity is better than no opportunity.
It is, man.
And so not knowing, you know how like certain leagues like the AAF didn't know what it was going to be. XFL, it got messed up. XFL was actually doing pretty good.
It was doing real good, but then COVID hit and
exactly,
it kind of killed it, man. And you seen a lot of guys. It was a guy, man, Kashai Lyons, man. Shout out to him, a guy I played with at Tuscaloosa. He was on that Houston team with PJ Walker, man. It was wrecking the league, bro.
Yeah.
And I feel like if the league when it got shot down, he definitely would have been somewhere. But you seen a lot of guys in the XFL. I seen a former first round pick in the XFL.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
XFL was doing well.
Yeah, it was. It really was, man.
And it really shocked me, and it shocked, I think it shocked the world, the amount of attendance, the people, like the crowds, the fans that were attending these games. I was like, dang, I wish I would have did it.
It was crazy because, it was like that COVID was bad in so many ways, but then for the XFL it was good because at that point people craved sports.
Yep.
You see the NBA, all that was getting pushed back.
Yep.
You didn't have that sports. You didn't, and it comes to a point of time in the summer where people just craving football anyways, and then you kind of had that being that bridge, that gap between college is over with, COVID is here, no sports is on TV, and then the XFLs come and you know what I'm saying, it explodes, man. Fox is behind it and everything like that. So like I said, the XFL is definitely growing. And now you get into a league now, the league that you just participated in the USFL, man. Yeah. So you're here with the Birmingham Stallions, man. So what was that process? What's that process been like for you?
Man, I thought it was amazing, man. At the point where I'm at, I'm enjoying life and I'm enjoying these opportunities that I'm getting.
Yeah.
I remember I was telling someone yesterday, I was like, man, I got to stop belittling things. I remember when I first got drafted with Stallions, I was like, just got signed to this little team and stuff like that. Why am I saying that? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was actually a big thing.
It's a big thing, man.
Exactly. And so
definitely.
I feel like sometimes when you got like a ultimate goal, like nothing is satisfying until you get that. And so I'm like, now I got to realize, like, if I'm making it or like I done made it.
Yeah,
like if
definitely.
like
you've been there. You've
exactly.
been there. And you just,
exactly.
Like you said, now you're just enjoying everything.
Exactly.
That's on the way.
I think it's more so like, not to say you live by like how people, like everybody don't understand that, like that's professional. You know what I'm saying? Like these leagues are professional.
Yeah, definitely.
And they only think that the NFL is the only thing that you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like these other leagues are paying well. Like we don't really realize that.
Yeah,
and so when I got down to this Birmingham, man, it was amazing. The fans, the community, like I really enjoyed myself, and I was really able to like, dang, like I had another moment. Yeah. Like, dang, I actually made it. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
you gotta enjoy the small moments, man. Because like you said, like we said earlier, man, football don't never last forever.
Exactly.
The NFL doesn't stand for National Football League; it stands for not for long.
Yep.
And that kind of coexists with life. Nothing's gonna last forever. You gotta be who you want to be in that time frame and take advantage in that time frame. So now that you got these years on you, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, man, for just like you said, soaking it all in, not belittling every situation, just taking it in, just starting to kind of just. Hey, wherever I'm at, I'm just going to enjoy it from now because I don't know where it's going to lead me. Exactly. Of course, the ultimate goal is always the NFL. But if I never played it down again, guess what? I always know I lived it. You know what I'm saying? Would you like? I'm pretty sure you would love to get back in, and you're looking for an opportunity to get back in now. Via the Birmingham Stallions and what the USFL has been able to do for you, because we've seen it do for many. We've seen a lot of guys get signed out of the USFL right now. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully you get your opportunity, man. So now you're back in, you just finished up your season there, man. You had a pretty good one. And now you're back here, home working out, man. So what's your process like every day, man? Just getting ready to try to get on an NFL roster or whatever roster it may be, or is that NFL, CFL. So what's your process been like, man? Just
I think now more so just making sure like my representation is communicating with teams. So I had a couple of workouts and things like that after the season. And I think some stuff is in the mix right now, so
That's what's up, man.
I'm praying to God that it comes
man.
through.
Definitely
but
praying for you for that, bro.
Mainly, Just working out, spending time. Like, I've been gone for a while, so I was just spending time with family.
Yeah, definitely.
I had like some trips and stuff like that. It was crazy. While I was down in Stallions, I actually went to America's Got Talent. So I was kind of representing. So it's a choir called the Players Choir. It's called NFL Players Choir. And recently, when I was down there after the first game, they asked me to come out and like they found out that I like to sing. I'm a choir boy, so
ain't nothing wrong with that, bro.
No, I'm gonna stand 10 toes on that one.
Hey man, shout out to that, man.
Exactly.
Like I tell you, people all the time, man. You got to live after the game of football.
Exactly.
It'll never last forever, and don't let football be all that you are.
Yes.
Because if you do, and once it's gone, whether you get hurt or you get cut or your time's up and you retire. You're gonna have to. You better have some other different things that you're well rounded in, because you're gonna be lost, man. And it definitely plays on the mental. I've seen it happen where guys, they leave college and they don't get that shot in the NFL, and mentally they just shut down. Or you see guys get in the NFL, they play 2-3 years, bad injury happens, and they shut down mentally, and they're lost in life, man. So shout out to you for having other different endeavors that you're involved in, man.
For sure. My main thing, gotta make sure you get that degree. That's why I was like, man, I'm gonna make sure I ain't leaving school without that.
Yeah.
And you gotta just have, I don't want to say have a plan B, because I'm always focused on that plan A, but just understand that this life ain't forever.
Yeah, it ain't.
So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, man. Like I said, the NFL life and the football life is never forever. You definitely got to have some other things. And like I said, once you find some other things that you like, then that'll kind of push you in the path that you want to go. Like with me, I love, looking at, Undisputed and First Take. So this was, for me, I knew this was for me, man. When I came here for the first time and I put these headphones on, it was just like me staring down the tunnel again.
Yeah. I
said, this is where I need to be. This is where I want to be at.
That's for sure.
And now I'm just growing the content, man, getting guys in like yourself to tell their story, man. Because like you said, in media sometimes you just hear about a guy. Well, he was with the Chargers and now he's with the USFL. But it's a story behind all of that, man. It's and it needs to be told in your perspective, from your lenses, because you're the actual person that's living it every day, and you're going through the battles every day and the ups and downs, because this is all, dealing with this sports and high level competition is definitely a grind.
For sure.
And people don't see that. They think it's just microwavable. It's gonna come like that, or I was good. It's a lot of good players that don't make it. It's a lot of guys I played college ball with, bro, that should have one of these helmets.
Man, I've been said that.
But it didn't get the opportunity. And there's a lot of guys we see that get the opportunity that maybe sometimes you don't think they deserved it, but hey, that was in God's plan.
Exactly.
Man.
Can't control that.
You can't control. Only you can control was only in your court, man, and God will handle the rest, man.
For sure.
So, and like I said, man, for every podcast, man, I always end it like this, man. Whether you believe it or not, you've been so many places, man, and someone's looking up to Willie Yarbary. A kid somewhere, whether that's male or female athlete, they're looking up and say, how can I get to that point where Willie was at? So what would be some words of encouragement for that, for that athlete that want to be the next Willie Yarbary? What would you have to say to them? If
someone was looking up to me, what would I tell them? I think at the end of the day, be themselves, and you just got to have heart at the end of the day, heart over and effort. It don't take nothing to give effort. It don't take nothing to have heart. If you really want it, you're going to be that dog. And you're going to consistently fight for what you want until you're satisfied. And so don't let nobody put no label on you and no timeline, and just keep working.
That's it, bro. I definitely believe that, man. Shout out to those words of encouragement. And when I hear guys talking and they give me their perspective, I try to apply it in my life.
Yeah.
Don't let nobody put no timeline on you. You know what I'm saying? That's for me. I'm always living my own code, man. And I'm not going to let no one else, determine who I'm going to be. I'm going to determine who I'm going to be, man. So Willie, man, like I said, man, definitely, man, here at Press Coverage Podcast, bro, definitely praying for you, bro, on your journey, man. Trying, wherever it may land you, whether it's back in the USFL, whether it's back, ultimately, we praying for you to be back in the NFL.
For sure.
But wherever it lands you, bro, we just want to say, man, thank you, bro. We always praying for you, man. Shout out for you again on everything you done, man, your family, and we just wish you the best, man. And I just want to say thank you, bro.
Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate you having me here.
No problem at all, man. Definitely want to get your story out here. Of course. So, man, we're out of here, man. Press Coverage Podcast, man. This is another one, man. We were Willie Yarbary. And we signing out, man.